While others celebrate the wins,
Yes.
we celebrate the mud.
each episode has a special guest.
Tony-nominated actress, Broadway's Lily Cooper.
Tashir Zameda.
David A. Gregory.
Getting messy with muddy topics.
We are going to be talking about grief journey.
With hilarious moments
Now get over here.
And deep conversations.
I'm ashamed to even admit this, but this is what happened.
This is Into the Mud.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Into the Mud podcast. While others celebrate the wins,
We celebrate the mud. I'm Alex Kuman.
and I'm Drew King, and we are coming to you live from the Malin in the West Village of New York City. And today we have one of, hands down, my favorite people in the entire universe. She's giggling on the sidelines right now. She's like one of the funniest people I know. We have Broadway actress, choreographer, director, comedian, writer, multi-hyphenate, everything extraordinaire, Vasthy Mompoint.
Hi. I forgot to say model, but that's okay.
Sorry, and model.
First and foremost.
Yeah. I mean, look at this. Absolute model, of course, 100%. Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't bring your headshot.
I wish I know if I had more
God.
time, I would have gotten you like
If you had
several.
whipped out a headshot, I would have died.
So I just want to give us a giveaway for your
Yes, it is a sign.
To the raffle, you
Yeah.
get an autographed headshot from Vasthy. So Vasthy and I have known each other 14 years now? 13.
Yeah.
13 years, I think it is.
Wow.
We originally met briefly at Broadway Dance Center, old Broadway Dance Center on
Yes.
57th Street, through our
God.
former boss, the amazing Don Rumba.
It's the best.
And then we finally worked on a contract together at the Goodspeed Opera House with one of our other guests, Richard Yoder, who you all love and know and love. And we met out doing a production of My One and Only.
Yes, one of my favorite experiences.
Hands down, one of my favorite contracts.
It was so great. It was just perfect.
We were like tap dancing on this like tiny little stage, on a raked stage, on
my
staircase.
gosh.
It was, the whole set was a staircase, and all of our like tap shoes were like ice skates, and we were all like trying to tap. And remember, it was like Survivor.
Forgot about that.
It was like every night. It was like who's falling, who's down, who's going down.
Gosh. It was so great though. What a great
Oh
time.
my God, we just
Tony
partied
Yazbek.
and like it was a
Gabriella.
great cast. Oh my God, that was so damn fun.
Kirsten Wyatt.
Yeah, Kirsten Wyatt. So Vasthy is, like we said, a Renaissance woman of many sorts. But you primarily got your start on Broadway. You did 8 Broadway shows.
I did.
I think
with the
I know
last few
them.
being. Oh yeah, you know them.
Okay, so I did this for Lily as well. So Good Vibrations, Hot Feet, Mary Poppins, Soul Doctor, SpongeBob SquarePants, The Prom, Rocky, and I'm missing one.
It's the one that's probably the most popular of all the shows.
Mary Poppins?
Based off a cartoon character.
SpongeBob.
Yes.
Oh, I said that. Didn't I say SpongeBob?
You did? Oh, wait. What do you go to in high school?
The Prom.
Yes.
The Prom. There we go.
What do pretty
Love
people
it.
do when they go to high school? What do most people do?
I know, right?
Wait, did you go to prom?
No.
What?
You never went to prom?
No, I'm Haitian. We weren't allowed to date.
Your parents
Couldn't
said
even
like you
go-
couldn't even go to prom?
No, it wasn't even like a.
Wasn't even
like
on
a-
the table.
Yeah, I thought it didn't even seem weird to me
Oh my gosh.
at the time.
But your peers were going to prom, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Where'd
Okay.
you grow up?
I grew up in North Carolina and Alabama. In North Carolina, we were more in like a Caribbean community, so we were around like all of our cousins, a lot of Jamaicans and all this stuff. And then we moved to Alabama, and it was like not that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Elaborate. What was it like?
Elaborate. It was all white people and me, basically.
In Alabama?
Oh yeah, I have. Yeah, I have so many pictures of just me, and I'm like, and it's just all just a sea of white.
I love that you have that cheerleading photo. I love that
Yeah,
photo.
yeah.
That's a great
There's so
one.
many dance recital videos, like
Oh my
everything.
God.
I love it.
Yeah.
And now you're living in LA and you are writing, you're directing, you're choreographing, you're doing everything really.
Trying.
Yeah, no, you are. You're nailing it. I mean, more so than me. I'm tiptoeing out. I'm finally tiptoeing out of the
You
biz.
are?
I think so, yeah. That's
Figuring
a little
out.
bit.
We're in the
Figuring it
liminal
out,
space.
Figuring it
Well,
out.
because you don't stop being an artist, so like leaving the business
No.
really just means you're not doing it at this moment.
It means I'm just
it-
not,
and
go-
you
I'm
know what
not
I mean?
having
Like
that.
diarrhea at a
Yeah,
chorus
yeah,
call
yeah.
is what it means.
Ugh.
Like,
yes.
oh my
I can't.
going to
The
a dance hall right now
exhaustion.
it feels like I would have to like,
I was just
I would need like 8 pounds of Imodium to get through an audition.
no, and then like just the like yeah, what you do to yourself.
Pardon me, like the
A
that.
dance call.
Oh yeah, so
what is that?
So we both sing and act, but we have worked a lot as dancers.
Yes.
And when you go to an audition, usually you have to present those skills so that they can be like good enough, not good enough. And you go to many dance calls, is what it is, where they crowd everyone into a room, they teach you a combo, and then they make you do it either 1 at a time or 2 at a time, 3 at a time in front of the casting director and all of your other peers. And you have to learn the combo that quick, adjust to style, and then be able to perform it and do it all in the matter of
Yeah.
like a half hour to 45 minutes.
And we don't get to prepare. Like,
don't get to
like
prepare.
if you're a singer, you prepare your stuff. If you're like a comic, you got like if it's with the exception of like improv, I guess.
Which
Like
is
you're
also I hate.
Which also you get to do your own thing, but with dance you have to be able to replicate what they did in their style and stand out like amongst all these other people that are doing the exact same thing as you.
in the room
That
with,
gave
like,
me
the-
just bad chills. Do you know what I mean?
I
That gave
don't. I
me-
didn't honestly didn't know how crazy it was that we did that for so long until
so
I was in LA, and like we could still do it now. I'm sure there is another dance call or two in my future, but just the like when it was just that or nothing, it was like
the anxiety of it all.
24 hours a day. Did I get it? Did you get a call back? Did she get a call back? I heard when she got called back, she got 2 pages of sides. I got 1 page. Did you get a
Oh,
song?
yeah. Did you sing one song or did you sing 2 songs? Like everyone's always like, do you want to hear a crazy story?
Yes,
This
and then I
one's-
have one too.
Yeah, okay,
Okay,
okay.
okay.
I was at an audition for, I don't even remember what it was, but there was another kid who was in the biz that like, for some reason he thought that I was his competition, but he was like a friend of me in the biz. And he sent me a Facebook message after a callback one day. And he sent me a Facebook message, and he was like, "Well, congrats on your callback." And I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, he was in the audition with me, and I was like, "You had a callback too?" And he was like, "No, you got another callback." And I was like, "What are you talking about? How did you know?" He said that he went through the trash bin and he found his headshot in the trash bin, but he didn't see mine. So he already knew that the people who were in the trash bin got cut. And whoever's headshot was not in the trash bin, he was able to deduce who got the call back. So I found out from this guy that I got a call back because he didn't see my headshot in the trash.
in the trash.
And he was mad, obviously.
And he was
'cause-
like, "Great job, congrats." It was so strange. I was like, "Thanks."
"Sorry."
Weird.
Also, just symbolically to have your headshot in the trash. Like
What
I
a metaphor. What
just
a metaphor.
crumpled up
Oh my
in the
gosh.
trash. Just
Just
feels-
like
Pardon
smiling
the
next to
fan.
like a banana peel.
amazing fan.
Oh my god, yes. I love it.
Flash.
I mean, it's fucking hot. Yeah. It's summertime. And you're wearing a jacket that I love.
I know, but it's cute.
It's amazing.
like
I love it.
I was recently at this audition,
Tell me.
and it was the last dance audition I've been to, and I haven't been to one since. And we were all leaving, and 3 of us were up for the same like role, and we were all like looking at our music and all this stuff. And she came out of the room and she nailed it. And she goes, I was like, how'd you do? She goes, really well. And she goes, but she was like, you know what? I would be honored to understudy either of you, no matter what happens. Break a leg in there. And then all of a sudden, you know when all of a sudden you're like, where am I? Like all of a sudden my dance clothes felt really tight. The pages in my hand felt dry, and I was like,
Your hands are
I love
clammy.
this more than I love theater, and I loved all that more than anything in the world. But I was like, that specific thing is not my place anymore.
Yeah.
That's such an interesting, like, when you fall in love with the art of it or the
Yeah.
feeling or the whatever
Yeah,
it is,
the feeling.
without realizing everything else that comes with it in that
Yes.
career path.
Yes.
The competition really well. That
Really well.
That kind of stuff. The headshots in a trash, the stress, did you get
like
this?
the
Did you
mind
get this?
games.
Like
Yeah.
that makes it so hard to be like, forever? Does this go away at all at
Yeah.
any point?
I mean, it gets easier.
It gets easier. Well, you just learn how to cope with it. We
Yes,
just talked about this.
actually, wow.
It's not even like that it gets easier. It's like you just learn how to deal with the failure or the rejection in a
gosh.
better way.
Yeah.
That's wild. I never thought about
It's
it that
truly
way.
wild.
It's like because you have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
Because if you don't, you drown. But it's so, I love that like sort of like deciding like I don't want this to be a part
Yeah.
of this anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a part of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Takes a lot. It takes a
does.
lot
It does.
because especially when you still love it.
So much. I love it so much. There's nothing that feels better than like singing and dancing on stage.
Yeah.
And getting people like clap for you before you go to sleep. That's a weird thing about theater people. Before you go to bed, an entire theater of people clap for you, and you're like, "Good night," and then you go to sleep.
That's my white noise. My
That's-
white noise on my phone.
Is applause?
Like, it's applause. That's what I go to sleep to.
Are you serious?
No, I'm fucking kidding. Could you imagine? Just it's like, woo! Good night.
Drew sometimes hires me to just throw roses at him while he's asleep.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
exactly.
I'm gonna try to go to sleep to applause tonight. Oh my
That's
god,
like-
that's actually amazing.
That is.
What
I'm
a
gonna
stupid
wake
bit.
up
Lady
to applause.
Gaga's
That feels like a bit from the other two that like
Yeah.
should have made it in, but like didn't.
Or I'm using. No one used that. I'm using that.
Yeah.
But if you wake up to applause, like you set your alarm to like applause sound effect, it's like, whoa, get up, Vasthy.
Welcome to today.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
I love that. Someone.
Oh my God, I
all
love
right,
it.
Apple, get on that.
I know.
That's on a new alarm
love
song.
it.
Awesome.
So Vasthy is one of my dearest friends, but is also the common denominator of some of the friendships of other guests that we've had on the show. So Lily Cooper, and you originally introduced me to Lily.
Yeah.
You and Richard and I all met together. You introduced me to David Gregory.
Yes.
And Jen Noble, because
Yes.
Vasthy was in the original Broadway company of Ghost with Jen Noble.
Yeah.
And Jen Noble, who will inevitably be a guest on the show as well, is married to episode number 1, David Gregory. So we have like
She's the best. They're
this
they're so
beautiful,
great.
yeah,
I
like
love this. You're in the mud family.
Yeah.
we really are though.
Aw.
And Vasthy always curates these. We call them our Catskills trips. We would go every summer to the Catskills and just like eat bacon and drink too much and play games and
listen
get
to
stoned
music
and listen to
and-
music
oh, it
and
was
get
so
giggle,
great.
and it was always
Love
amazing.
that.
And
It really
all those
was.
people were included in it, and I have like the best memories. And we've all been through fucking shit together. Like we've all been
So
through
much.
deaths and like grief from like, closing shows, relationships that have all collapsed. Like we have dealt with, Vasthy was dealing with somebody who was dealing with addiction, and my mom was coaching her through it. Because my mom, so like you knew my mom very well.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And got a lot of like addiction advice and recovery advice from her regarding someone that you were dealing with. And
Yeah.
we have these like deep, it's wild.
Wow,
these
that was
deep
like
layers.
every once in a while I like zone out and forget that happened.
I know.
I was like, oh yeah, that's terrible. That was a terrible thing
Yeah.
that happened. That was awful.
Yeah. So that brings us to today's muddy topic, which is divorce. Yay! We're gonna talk about divorce.
I was gonna do my mind
A
just
fan
went,
kick?
No, mine like sounded like potato chips. It was like when I tried to. It was like
If I tried to do a fan kick right now, I'd be like, I'd kick over the mic. That's
I'm
my
gonna
fan kick.
we should try to do a seated fan kick
Right now,
at the end.
let's do
the
it now.
end.
Are we gonna
Okay.
go to the right? Okay. 5,
5, 6, 7, 8. 1,
Oh,
2.
my knee cracked.
This is 37.
Literally.
we
knee cracked.
go.
Yep. And I was
Popped.
tucking that pelvis.
Yeah. Whoopsies.
I hope that one's good.
Okay, so this is a vulnerable topic.
Mm-hmm.
So you can use discretion if you want. You can go as deep or as surface as you want to.
Yeah.
But we don't have an episode about. We have a breakup episode, but we don't have a divorce episode.
Mm.
And this is a heavy one. And I know your ex or knew your
Yes.
ex. I was at the wedding.
Yep.
I was there when y'all first started dating.
Yep.
So I know that person intimately as well, and I know you so deeply. And I feel like I know a lot of the seasons of what that relationship
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
And now you two have separated, or you've split up. You're officially divorced?
Yes.
Okay, like signed,
Officially.
sealed, delivered.
Yes, it's done.
Okay.
Done deal.
Do you want to, can you give us a little bit of like a background of, I don't know, where you met, how long you dated, how long you were married, and then
Yeah. Well, I met Mason through a friend of ours, the friend I'm actually staying with right now. Whenever I come to Queens, to New York, I always stay in Queens. And I literally, the night before, I was like, I am not going to date anybody else. I was like, everything just gets like, it always ends in like misery and sorrow, and I need to figure myself out. Because I either make it miserable or they make it miserable and all this stuff. And then the next night I met Mason. And then it went from there. And we started dating, and before him, I didn't really have boyfriends. I was never like a relationship kind of person.
I feel like you always had like situationships.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, or I would like get into like toxic cycles with people or something like that, but they weren't really my boyfriend. And just like basically a form of, now I realize, a form of like self-harm, just choosing like wrong people. And that doesn't apply to my ex-husband, because he was, it's not like he's dead. He was a good husband, was
Yeah.
a good husband.
Yeah.
But when so many bad things happen in a course of a time, excuse me, I'm actually not choked up, I'm just choking. When so many bad things, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
happen in a span of time, a person can only take so much, I think.
Yeah.
And so, like, we got married
That was 2017?
2017.
Okay.
And then, like, I was supposed to start SpongeBob rehearsals 3 weeks after our wedding. So we had our honeymoon, and on the honeymoon, like a few weeks after that, I had a miscarriage on the very first day of Broadway rehearsal and of like the beginning of our marriage. So then that happened, and it was devastating. It was absolutely devastating for anyone, for different reasons. For me, I have a huge connection to kids, and I've taken care of thousands of kids. Like, I honestly think I probably have, between teaching them and babysitting them. I used to have a babysitting agency, probably thousands. So the cruel joke that nature played on me that I can't have one is crazy. So that happened. At this point, I didn't know that I couldn't have kids, but that happened. And then, because I didn't really process the pain of that and didn't give my body proper rest, my body started to break down. And I got like very, very sick, and I had like 32 like or so tumors in my stomach and in the lining of my
32.
uterus. And they're like, I thought I was gonna maybe die. So then that happened, and then all that happens. And then we moved to LA, and then COVID happened, which happened to everybody. But during that time, I had like 2 more miscarriages. And then I can't
Which,
legally
by the way,
discuss.
Having friends who have gone through it, like, we really have such a shallow understanding of the mental, emotional, and physical toll that a miscarriage takes, and how we expect people to just bounce right back.
Yes.
And it is awful.
It's awful.
It is awful.
It's like, and because you're also going through postpartum, which I didn't know until, like, that's a whole other women's health. So I didn't know.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like, when I think about all of this, so much has to do with women's health, like everything that happened. So then, so yes, I broke down physically and mentally.
Yeah.
And so then I had to like drag myself back up and all this stuff. So I can't legally discuss exactly what happened, but I owned a company, and it did not end well.
Okay.
And not only did it not end well, it ended very, very badly.
Yeah.
In the midst of George Floyd and the pandemic, and one of my best friends in the whole world, whose husband was dying of COVID as well. So it was all this stuff happening at once. And then at the same time, I am on the other side of the country, away from all of my friends, like nobody. So it was just, things kept happening.
It was just snowballing.
Yeah. We started this like children's company together that went really, really well. And we had all these producers that were like, we're going to give you money. We're giving you money. Just start the album. They were like,
You and Mason together.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're giving you like, and like we got like Broadway people to help. It was like amazing. Like, it's this amazing album. The album is still great, but they're like, we're paying for it. You don't worry about that. Raise funds for other parts of your company if you need to, but we're going to give you $20,000. And they started with $5,000 and all this stuff. And then he just disappeared. The producer disappeared. So there's debt from COVID. There's debt with my medical stuff. There's debt because of my company. Yeah. And now we have to come up with an extra $15,000 for, and it's just, I think it was just too many things. And I wasn't my best version of myself, because now I realize I think I was just going crazy. I honestly do think I was going absolute crazy.
That's so much for, even one of those things is so much for anybody to hold. and deal and process in a healthy way and move on. But to have all of those things on your plate simultaneously while there's a global pandemic, and it's just
in the world, and that's where, and I try to trace back to when it kind of started cracking, and it was the day that Trump was elected. Something in me broke inside of my whole body. So my body wasn't processing it. My stomach, and everything, not that I'm just saying that was the beginning of the crack or whatever. So then, and I think that a lot of people, if they think back to when their depression and their anxiety got really crazy, if they trace it back, it's at that same time.
Yeah, that really
absolutely
it
checks
flipped
out.
a lot of things over for us in a way that we weren't anticipating. We talked on the phone that day that he was elected, and we both just cried.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because we
really
made jokes about it. We didn't think that he was going to win.
It was actually going to happen.
Yeah.
I know.
Really sassy.
Yeah. Trump, he's fun. He's a sassy guy.
Fine. He doesn't.
Yeah. Oh
anyways,
how
God,
outrageous.
I love the subject.
What a chapter of time.
So, yeah.
So basically, that you had a lot all these factors that are now putting immense amount of strain and pressure on your relationship and on your marriage.
And I didn't understand my brain. And I didn't know I had ADD, which learning that diagnosis has changed my life.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
I do. I have my little ADD ball. It's
great.
why I hold so
love
many
it.
things in my hands.
Oh my God, I love it.
But realizing how much that impacted my life and how I'm actually, people with ADHD tend to accomplish a lot of things because we're bored really quickly, and because we hyperfocus, and because we need stimulation. And what's more stimulating than moving to one of the biggest, most expensive cities in the world and going, I think I'm going to sing, dance, and act. That's a great idea.
Why not?
I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I think I think everyone in New York has ADD because the logic doesn't make sense that we would move here to do all the things that we do.
Everything.
It takes
When did you get diagnosed, and what was your first moment of aha of okay, something's going on here, I need to figure this out? I
went to get my driver's test, actually. It all started with my driver's test, and I failed the driver's test. And I don't cry that often, and I had an absolute breakdown. I couldn't stop crying. And the guy was like, you can take it again. And I was like, I can't. And I was like, you don't understand. I was in high school. And I had this weird reaction to it. And so when I was in therapy, I was I had a very weird reaction to failing a driver's test. And she's like, well, with ADD. And I was like, I don't have ADD. And she was like, you don't? And I was like, no, I don't have ADHD. And she was like, oh my goodness, you don't know that? And I was like, no. And she was like, we can officially test you, but I'm 99% sure you have ADHD pretty severely. And I was like, okay, I don't believe it. That's my generation. We don't believe in it. So we did. I took one test, and it said it was like,
ding,
you are,
ding.
it was like more than average, you're ADHD. And I was like, don't believe it. So I went to another doctor and got a second opinion, and they said the same thing.
What are
And then
the
I went to one
hallmarks
more.
of having ADHD? What are some of the things? I think there are some common things that we, but what are some of the specific things that how it manifests?
Well, see, so some people think ADHD is a superpower, and it is in a way, and sometimes it is a curse. So the ability to hyperfocus, which means if I want something, sorry, I keep touching my mic. It's gonna be divorce.
I don't know, just twirling the mic.
If I want something, if I know that I want something, at no point in my life has it not happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because if
You get hyper-focused or hyper-fixated?
Yep. I hyperfixate and I hyperfocus, and I can see how people did it, and I'm like, I'm going to do that thing, and I want to do it right now. If I really actually want to do it, and if I'm really interested, and those two things have to be together.
Yeah.
I didn't even make my high school musical, and I was like, no, I'm going to be on Broadway anyways. I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
What was the musical?
Once Upon a Mattress, which our friend Richard Yoder is in right now.
Disgusting. Ew.
It actually ended up being my first professional job. I love that show.
really
It's one of
love
my
it.
favorites.
It's a great show.
But so hyperfocus is an ability. That's great. the bad thing about it is I ignore everything else that doesn't have to do with that thing. So like I like disregard my health. I make like not healthy decisions. I forget my friends and family, and I just like do whatever, like, and so they go on both ends. People with ADHD have a stronger sensitivity to injustice, which I thought was really
never heard of that
which I
one.
thought was really interesting.
Wow.
In what capacity? Because it's something you hyper focus on, or because it's like a sense of self and awareness in the world? And...
It's the empathetic and the gut feeling and just the pure logic that if you're just not an asshole, then life would be better. It's just pure logic. They have a feeling.
Always been a bleeding heart, though. You've always had like
the world hurts me
deep
every
empathy
day.
for everybody. Yeah.
And then like when you're younger, kind of feeling like you're inside, you're like, I feel young, but I also feel like I'm older than these kids. And then you're older, looking at your adult friends and going, I'm your age, but I feel younger than you. That's an interesting one that
Weird.
I think is.
I've never heard of that one either.
There's so many, like not responding to people. The executive function is the hardest thing. So if we're not completely interested, we just won't do it. So like they call it the ADHD tax. So I'll forget appointments or I'll lose things a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, as he knows, and all that. When I remember calling my friends and I was like, you guys, I have ADHD. I just found they're like, yeah.
Yes,
Facts.
correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And then I was like, and I think all of you should get tested because as they were telling me the symptoms, I was like, and my therapist said that people with neurodivergencies travel like
In packs?
packs. Yeah. And then
That's what the Catskills
And then I
crew
was
is?
like, as she's explaining like all this stuff, I was like, And I thought of like us making up like musicals in the pool and just doing like just very.
Do you remember the day we did the synchronized swimming in the pool?
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I choreographed a whole entire synchronized swimming routine.
2
We
a.m.
were just like stoned at like 2 a.m. in a pool.
Obviously.
Good times, as you do. Yeah.
No, but circling back, yeah, so like it's all tied together because I didn't when I got, so between the diagnosis and then also everything that was happening in this country with like Black people.
Yeah.
What? Nothing.
Like what? You mean like everything and everything?
I'm actually not familiar.
Yeah, like what was possibly going on? Like I think we're all
What's going
pretty
on? Like,
equal,
what's
honestly.
happened? Oh God, the amount of people I've met like that.
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah.
So I felt like I wasn't and I'm not saying it's my fault. I'm not saying it's his fault. I think that I just wasn't my best version of myself, and I hadn't been for a while. Yeah. And I didn't really like myself that much either. But I always thought divorce and a breakup would be like the same thing. Divorce feels like somebody has taken a knife and has cut you completely in half. And you don't know what to do with the last 10 years of your life. They're all memories, everything. I couldn't sing. I didn't want to sing. I just picked up my guitar like a few months ago. I didn't play the guitar for a year. It sat in storage. I didn't want to sing. I didn't want to perform. Like everything just like hurt because it was just tied to him. I couldn't listen to any song. And like all we do is listen to music.
Yeah.
So that's when I started listening to podcasts actually. And like you guys used to always try to get me to listen to podcasts. I'm like, I don't want to listen to someone talking.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, this is awesome.
It's a new
The
thing.
only thing. How
And
long
that,
were
like,
you
helped.
together, start to finish?
I think we met 2012. I think I was in Soul Doctor, so whatever year that came out.
Soul Doctor.
Soul Doctor. One of my favorite shows in the world.
I remember that show. Yeah. And then
like
you broke
10
up,
years.
and then the
Yeah.
divorce was initiated in 2022.
Yes.
23, was it last year?
2022, the same 3 days after I got COVID. It was a great week.
Oh.
I was like quarantined in the apartment.
So what you, like, as you were talking before, one of the things that, and this just keeps coming up with a lot of our guests too, is like a lot of times awful events don't happen in isolation, right? So it's like one after the other.
Yes.
It's just like this happened and then this happened, and like
When it rains, it
huge,
pours.
huge. And when you look back at that time, as all that stuff was happening, like how are you like getting through the days?
That's the incredible. I have a really great community of friends that I honestly don't think and family. But my friends really know me well. Obviously, it's a whole different thing with your friends. So like, I tend to always think everything's fine. Like when I had the miscarriage, I remember texting everyone. I was like, "Hey guys, I just found out I had a miscarriage.
No
but I'm
worries,
fine.
all
no
good."
And I was like, "No worries, all cool, all good. Y'all want to grab a drink this weekend?" And everyone was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm good.
Tight.
Who cares? Yeah, I'm tight, homie. It's fine."
Yeah.
So like I thought that that's what I was gonna be able to do with this. I mean, at first, I cried nonstop for 5 days straight. And one of the worst pictures I've ever seen in my life was a picture of me getting my passport. It's actually like scary.
Ooh.
Like my face is swollen like 4 times because I'd never cried that much in my entire life. It felt like something just like broke inside me. But sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Also ADHD.
Just how you get through the days.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I tried and I was like, I can do this. And then I would like lay down, because I was staying in the apartment at the time because he got the apartment, but for a while I had it just to get my bearings. And like, I was having very dark thoughts, very, very, very dark thoughts. And I was like, nope. But I was like, I'm fine. And then our friends, Chris and Mark, who introduced me to Mason, they were like, we're coming to LA. I was like, you don't need to, I'm fine. And they were like, okay, great. I'm glad you're fine. So we'll come see you. And I was like, okay.
They knew.
And as soon as like I opened the door and they came, like, because no one that I was around knew Mason that well.
Yeah.
They were just like, oh, your ex-husband's an asshole or whatever. And I was like, it's not that.
It's a lot more nuanced there.
So then seeing someone that actually knew him, it was just like, ugh. And so I finally started. And so for the whole year, I just went all around the country, like staying with different friends. And that's what I'm writing about right now. How every place I went, they just like gave me a bed and gave me shelter and didn't ask me any questions and just fed me and got me booze and gave me weed. Like they were just like, what do you need? What do you need? What do you need?
Yeah.
Like, and I remember every single one of them was like, it's scaring me that you haven't made any jokes. And I was like, I know. I was like, I'm trying to, and I can't.
It's dry.
Because even inside, I like when something bad's like even like during my miscarriage stuff, I was like making jokes in my head, but I was like I couldn't. It was just awful. But I could not think of anything. I was like, this is because it wasn't just that. Again, it was all of it.
Yeah.
And then, like what I've noticed, what I know now medically, is that because of all the miscarriages and all the medical issues I was having, I got knocked into early menopause. Thus, my
Hot flash.
Hot flashes. Oh my gosh.
So then thinking of my behavior and a lot of decisions that I made and a lot of the craziness I felt over the last few years, and knowing that that was also me starting menopause, which is not discussed.
Not talked about.
I was just
And
going to say
menopause-
yet another thing within women's health that like it's just like
And that's what we say. It's all just feels just like it's just not fair. And so I was like, so I grieved finally for the fact that I really won't be able to have biological children, which I think I've always wanted to adopt. It was just, I don't know what, it's still just, I don't know. I don't know if it's science. I don't know what it is. But like all of a sudden I was like, oh, my body's like, we're shutting down. We're shutting down.
closing up shop.
Show's closing. Yeah.
Show's closing.
Show's closing.
You have 1 week's notice. And so then I was,
Oh my God.
so like, and it was all happening at once. So right now I'm creating a show called The Change, because that's what all of it is. It's not just my body changing. It's because menopause feels like an alien has taken over my body. It feels like when we got puberty, which you don't remember that feeling really until menopause. I was like, this feels like puberty.
What changes
I don't know what's
are
going
you
on.
feeling?
Like my boobs hurt. A hot flash is what I thought was just like, oh, you get a little sweaty. It feels like somebody has taken a lantern and has put it in my stomach and turns it on blast for however long, and then it goes off. And it's initiated by anxiety or nerves or like I was like, I'm not crying today. And my body's like, well, then we're going to make you sweat. So grab your
We're
fan.
gonna turn up the heat.
Grab your fan.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not crying, not crying, not crying.
This is the show.
Yeah.
This is the show.
Sorry, this is reminding me. I'm seeing Cats tomorrow, and I'm so excited.
I've never been more. Is it sold out?
There's
Is
an
every show
off-Broadway-
sold out?
No, I think there might still be tickets. There's an off-Broadway revival happening of Cats now that takes place in ballroom culture.
Ballroom culture is my
Ballroom
absolute
and, like,
favorite thing in the world.
I'm so excited to see it. Anyway, sorry, that was a complete tangent.
Sorry, ADD.
ADHD?
So yeah, it was just the grief was like unlike anything because I was like, I have to say goodbye to, and that's I think that's the hardest thing. You have to say goodbye to an old version of yourself that I was literally holding on to with like claws, and I was like, I don't want to, and she was like, I'm sorry, girl. You know too much now.
Yeah.
You can't ignore it. You've learned too much about the world, about what the country really thinks of you, what the world thinks of your family, about like, hey, your husband doesn't want to be with you, like your body is shut. Like it's just that's the truth.
Yeah.
And to think that you can just like go back to the way you were, or just to jump back into auditioning for the same things that you did before and all that stuff is just not logical.
It doesn't fit that, like, trying to go back and do the same things that you did before. It's like putting on a suit that doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah. And everything just feels, so you have to like find the things that still feel good that don't cause, it's just weird. It's such a weird thing. But this is the best that I think I've been. Kids usually help. And so I've been like, I was like, I can't perform right now. And like, I'm actually very lucky to have agents. So hopefully at this point they don't drop me. Don't drop me. My agent and my manager were like, take your, and I have a big agency, and they're like, take your time. And I was like, tried to do a self-tape like 5 days after, and I was going, and like, I pressed record and it wouldn't record. I was like,
oh my gosh.
And then I actually saved the tape. And then at the beginning, I'm like, my name is Vasthy Mompoint. I'm 5'6.5", and I'm based in Los Angeles.
You're just like, we can't submit this.
I had to do
What?
I did an audition the day after my mom died because I was like in the hospital with her. She died, and I was like, but I have that callback. I gotta go. And I fucking drove back to the city. I was like, my mom would want me to be there. And it was the worst audition of my life. I was there from like 9 a.m. till 7 p.m. It was one of those like unnamed regional theaters that I'm not going to mention that makes you do like 7 combos and sing 2 songs in front of everybody. And I was like, what are we doing? And like the whole time I was just like, flap ball change. My mom just died. Like, why am I here? Why do we even give a fuck about this?
Oh my God.
But yeah, like having to show up to your craft again in the midst of pain and grief is like hard.
And like looking at, and this is not just me, I know this is everybody, looking at this country that like, I'm a child of immigrants. So like, I've been more pro-America than most of my friends for a very long time until the Trump thing. Like I had like, remember I used to wear like American flag glasses and shit. Like, cause this country, I'm like literally the definition of the American dream.
Yeah.
Like
Quite
by
literally.
far.
Yeah.
My sister and I, by far. But I look around and I'm just like, it's just so, I don't understand, and I don't feel safe
Absolutely.
at all for so many different reasons.
Because your
and it's
existence,
stressful.
your simple existence and your rights are being challenged every single day.
On
Every
so many
fucking
different,
corner.
on so many different levels.
I just want to live. It's not fun.
Yeah.
It's so interesting too, the link between like the somatic manifestation, like the body stuff that happens to you when you're in a constant state of like stress or fear or confusion or sadness. Like that mind-body connection is so
It's
real.
so strong.
It's so real.
And that's when I did my last show, I wrote a show about me getting sick, and I started with my favorite quote. This poet, I hope I'm Nair Waid, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right.
Yeah, I know exactly
But
what
she
you're talking
says,
about.
and I said to my body softly, I want to be your friend. And it took a deep breath and said, I've been waiting my whole life for this. I know. And I know I missed a few words, but that's basically, and it just, I remember reading that, and I was like, you have to make them friends, or otherwise you're not going to live that long.
Yeah.
You're just not. You're just not going to live that long if you don't connect them together. And if you do live a long time, then it's going to be miserable.
Yeah.
It's the only option.
Yeah.
So like I try to, like we both love yoga, and just trying to go back to the way I was before social media came out, which was reading and writing and like talking to my friends and being social. I was like, I'm not built for the social digital world. I need human interaction and warmth, and I need to know if you're writing an email that it's, or a letter, that it's actually you and not some like robot.
Yeah.
That's my new bit, by the way. I've been calling my friends and acting like I'm an AI robot.
That's a good bit.
Stupid.
It's easy. No, this is Vasthy.
Well, this is Vasthy Mompoint. I want to return back to that beautiful quote. I love that. I think whenever something goes wrong with my body, yes, there's the part of me that feels, once something is taken away, you start to, you realize how you took certain things for granted, your health for granted, for example. And you can go either way. Sometimes you can go the direction of like, stupid body, wow, like why are you doing this to me? Poor me, my body.
Yeah.
Or you can say like, I still have XYZ left and I love what my body is giving me. Like where, considering all of like the deep medical trauma that you have been through over the past like 10 years, so many complicated things that have been happening with your body, how have you like, what are the ways in which you've been able to show up and like love your body despite the, broken isn't the word, despite the challenges that your body's throwing at you? How have you been able to be like, to love your way through those challenges instead of fight them?
Yeah. I know it sounds so cliche, but meditation and yoga. And when I first, during the divorce, like the first, like, I'm going to say 9 months was the most still my body has ever been. So still to like not good. Where it was like now I'm working out, but I developed this like sort of arthritis because I didn't get up. I just sat, and I was in LA, so no one walks there. So like, and I would try to like, if there's steps, I'm not going to do it. So if I have to drive somewhere to walk, that's irritating to me. When I lived here for 20 years.
Right.
I don't know what that feels like.
Right.
Or getting in your car and just sitting and people making you mad.
Traffic.
So I just sat. I sat and watched TV. I sat and I was eating, because I eat pretty healthy. So I usually eat healthy, and I just started eating like everything, drinking every day. Like there was, at the beginning, I remember the first like few weeks, I would wake up crying. Like I would like wake up, when your body's like it's like, I'm awake, time to cry again. And I would like take a bottle of Jameson that was on the side. I would just chug it, take a Xanax, eat a gummy, and then wait to just like go back to sleep. And that was for like 9 months. And then I was like, okay, I'm starting to hurt, and it doesn't feel. I went to the doctor and I was like, something's wrong. I think I might have like a cancer or something. And she was like, well, you're really healthy, so, and you're active, so. And I was like, ooh, about that.
Yeah.
I haven't been doing any of those things. And she was like, you don't have cancer. You have to stop. You have to stand up.
Stop doing this
Stand.
cocktail.
She literally,
in the
she was like
morning.
kind of irritated. She's like, walk, drink water. I found
like
amazing
Jameson.
community of doctors. There's this place called TIA. It's in
heard
New
about
York.
that.
It's in LA. Yeah.
Is it an acronym, TAA?
I think it's supposed to stand for like a TIA,
Like an aunt.
like an aunt.
Oh.
Because that's what it feels like. And so in this building, you have your therapist, your gynecologist, your general practitioner, fertility treatments, acupuncture, and they all share information with you. So they all share information with each other. So instead of being like, I don't know why you're so sad this week, they're like, well, your vitamin D levels are low and your iron is low, and so that's not helping.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
We've talked before about functional medicine and the need for there to be more holistic look at, rather than just here's what's wrong, let's cut it out.
Yes.
It's what's your trauma history, what's your stress level, what's your
Yes.
environment, what's all that, like
Trauma history, and that is
essential
Crazy. I
and
didn't even think about
completely
that.
ignored from Western medicine. And one of our previous guests, we had conversations about cancer and things like that. And I've had cancer, and it's the lack of holistic view of patients is such a downfall of our healthcare system.
Absolutely.
wow. It's,
Yeah.
it's so like that's so
Yeah.
exactly right with depression and stuff too. Instead of
Big time.
like, and I'm on medication. Like that also changed my life as well. And it doesn't work for everybody, but I got a medication. I was like, where have I been? What planet have I been living on since I have been born?
Vasthy was one of the primary people who really helped coach me through my psychiatry and figuring out, navigating my depression and medication because I was so anti medication.
And
I was terrified of it for a very long time, as you were. Because I remember when you were going through it, and then when I was going through it, you gave me such incredible like advice about.
Like sometimes you need a little bit of help.
You got it's about
There's
loving yourself.
nothing
It's
wrong
showing
with
up and
that.
loving
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have to have an episode about depression and medication one day.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Love that episode.
Yeah.
All right, well, Vasthy, thank you for sharing so much.
That was
So
amazing.
beautiful.
Thank you. I'm so glad you're
I miss
coming
you
out
so
of
much.
come out of it or coming out of it.
Yeah.
And it's such a hard road, and it's just
It really is terrible. Divorce is awful. No books or movies or stories or poems or songs. It's awful.
Yeah.
It's really terrible.
yeah.
But I'm glad that I'm coming out of it as well.
Yeah.
And
And
we'll
now you can
share
just go get like all the dicks.
I get all of that.
Yeah.
So stupid.
I'm single, honey.
Well, I'm still virgin.
I did know this. I did know this. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
but
A
maybe
model and a virgin.
maybe this
And single.
Maybe this year.
I love you. You're
I love you
fucking
too.
amazing.
Thank you both for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for
Here.
coming.
Where can our guests find you online? Like, what's your website? What?
Vogue. I was kidding. At sorry, I knew you have to go. At Frosty Vasthy on Instagram. And that's pretty much it.
Great.
Great.
Amazing.
Perfect.
And now we have our favorite part.
Wonderful 10 questions.
Is our rapid fire 10 questions.
Oh my gosh.
All
These
right,
are
so
so
just top
stressful.
of mind, whatever comes to you immediately. Ready?
Yeah, as quick as possible. Go rapid fire.
Okay.
Facial or massage?
Massage.
Carrot cake or chocolate cake?
Chocolate.
Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Go to space or deep sea dive?
Deep sea dive.
Would you rather be able to read people's minds or have the ability to be invisible?
Invisible.
Okay.
Okay. What's your favorite snack after midnight?
The spinach.
Great.
I know.
Favorite drag queen?
Bob the drag queen.
Okay. Do you think dinosaurs had gorgeous long hair or feathers?
Feathers.
Okay. Kill, fuck, marry. Judy, Liza, Barbara.
I'm so sorry. Fuck Liza, marry who? Judy,
Judy.
and then who's the last one?
Barbara.
Kill Barbara.
That's okay. It's okay. What's your favorite kind of cheese?
The Gouda.
Gouda. Yes. Well done.
Got
Gouda.
That's my favorite thing.
That's your exit.
I love
All right. I love you. Thank
Thank
you so
you
much for
so
being here.
much.
We love you.
I can't believe that worked out. You're like, I know this is a long shot.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I
All
love
right,
that.
y'all. Thank you so much for listening. And give Vasthy a follow, give her a subscribe, follow, like, subscribe us, and we love you all. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Bye.